She's standing on the edge of a cliff, in her hands a fistful of glowing pearls that could save an entire valley or destroy it forever. 2 warring families are behind her, weapons drawn, centuries of hatred ready to explode. The 5 of the moon is rising. She has seconds to decide, and then she jumps. But to understand why a 16-year-old girl just threw herself off a cliff into a dark and churning ocean, we need to go back. Back to a London cemetery, a mysterious old book, and a curse that has been waiting 5,000 moons for exactly this moment. We are introduced to Maria, a girl who has just lost the only person in the world who truly mattered to her. Her father is dead. She has no home, no money, and no plan. She's being shipped off to live with an uncle she barely knows in a crumbling countryside mansion that feels more like a prison than a refuge. The uncle resents her. The estate is full of secrets, and the only thing her father left her, his final gift, is a strange, ancient book that nobody will let her keep. She is alone. She is grieving, and she has absolutely no idea that she has been chosen to carry the weight of a 5,000-year-old prophecy on her shoulders. And what happens next will completely change everything about this girl's life, and every life in the valley she's been sent to save. Because the story in that book, it isn't just history, it's a warning. And Maria is already running out of time. Picture a London cemetery in the rain. The kind of gray, heavy day that feels like the sky itself is mourning. A teenage girl stands perfectly still among the tombstones, dressed in black, watching her father's coffin disappear into the earth. Her name is Maria, and she is holding herself together with everything she has. But then, right in the middle of the ceremony, when every other head is bowed and every other eye is closed, Maria feels it. That prickling awareness. The unmistakable sense of being watched. She looks up, and there, at the far edge of the cemetery, stands a figure. Dark, still, wrong. The kind of presence that doesn't belong at a funeral because it isn't there to grieve. It's there to observe. Maria blinks. The figure is gone. No footprints, no explanation. Just the cold London air and the sound of dirt hitting wood. From its very first seconds, this movie is telling you something. The story you think you're watching, a girl losing her father, is not the real story. The real story is something far older, far stranger, and far more dangerous than grief. After the funeral comes the will reading. Maria sits across from a solicitor, probably bracing herself for the worst. No house, no savings, nothing. And she's right. Her father died in debt. But what she receives instead of nothing turns out to be somehow more baffling than nothing. A book. Just a book. Old, worn, heavy with age. No accompanying letter. No explanation. A man who spent his whole life apparently failing to get things right chose to spend his last act leaving his daughter words. That night, alone in the house she's about to leave forever, Maria opens it. The title reads, The Ancient Chronicles of Moonacre Valley. And from the moment her eyes touch the first page, the movie pulls us through time, backward, centuries into the past, to a valley so green and alive it barely seems real. We are introduced to Moonacre Valley at its most beautiful, a place where the sea meets the forest, walking along the beach one night as a young girl. Not a princess in the traditional sense, no crown, no court, no throne. But she carries something rarer than any of that. A purity of heart so genuine that nature itself seems to recognize her, and one extraordinary night the moon does too. It gifts her a collection of radiant, impossible pearls. From that night forward, everyone calls her the Moon Princess. The story moves forward, still in the past, to a moment of celebration. 2 powerful families in the valley have decided to unite through marriage, and to mark the occasion they exchange gifts. One family presents a magnificent black lion, ancient, fierce, loyal. The other offers a unicorn, described as the only creature in the world worthy to stand beside the Moon Princess. It is a perfect moment. 2 great families, 2 magical creatures, one valley holding its breath with hope. And then the Moon Princess makes one decision that unravels all of it. Swept up in the joy of the celebration, she reveals her pearls, and not just reveals them, but reveals their power. These pearls, she explains with pride and love, can grant any wish, any at all, good or evil. Watch the faces of the 2 men when she says that. Watch the celebration drain out of them like water through sand, and something colder, hungrier slide in to take its place. Both men want one thing, the pearls, and they will tear each other apart to get them. The Moon Princess watches the people she trusted most reduce themselves to something she doesn't recognize. And in her grief, in the specific shattering grief of someone who was betrayed by love rather than by strangers, she does something she can never take back. She curses the entire valley. One chance. If they can return the pearls to nature and reunite the families, the curse breaks. If they fail, the valley falls into eternal darkness. Back in the present, Maria closes the book. She's rattled in a way she can't quite explain, like the words crawled off the page and into her chest. She tells herself it's just a story. She'll finish it later. But later comes fast, because the next morning Maria's life changes again. With her father gone and London no longer an option, she's being sent to live in the countryside with her uncle, a man she's barely met, at an estate she's never seen. The goodbyes are sad and rushed. Her governess, Miss Lavandisa, makes an announcement. She promised Maria's late mother she would look after Maria. She has no intention of breaking that promise now. She is going, period, and nothing about this arrangement is up for discussion. The road to the estate is terrible, long, rutted, punishing, but the real surprise comes the moment the coachman climbs down to unlock the gate. Men appear out of nowhere. Members of the Noir clan, dangerous, fast, and clearly not interested in asking questions. They move on the carriage immediately. But here's what they don't know about Maria and Lavandisa. These two are not the kind of women who scream for help. They fight back, quickly, efficiently, and with enough force that the attackers end up on the ground before the oblivious coachman has even found the right key. The gate opens. They're through. And when it swings shut behind them, it locks the Noir clan on the wrong side. They arrive at the mansion. It is vast, dark, and feels like it has been holding its breath for a long time. A man named Benjamin greets them, precise, formal, carrying the energy of someone managing 1,000 things at once. He shows Maria to her room, which is at the top of a tower, dusty and hollow with neglect. But then Maria finds a hidden door in the wall, and behind it, a secret room. Warm, glowing, beautiful, furnished as if someone knew exactly who was coming and exactly what they would need. Maria doesn't feel chosen yet, but the room does. The next morning brings the book Crisis. Maria brings it to breakfast, and Benjamin, without a hint of apology, informs her that the book belongs to the mansion. He takes it. Gone! Furious, Maria confronts her uncle directly. He is not a man who softens things for comfort. When she demands to know why she was brought here, he tells her the truth as he sees it. Her father lived recklessly, died in debt, and left behind a responsibility. Taking care of Maria is that responsibility, an obligation, nothing more. Maria tells him to take those words back. He refuses. He even implies her father was weak and positions himself as the opposite. The air in the room goes still. It is a brutal thing to say to a grieving daughter. And yet, here's the thing about her uncle that the movie slowly begins to reveal. He doesn't say it to wound her. He says it because he's a man so armored in bitterness that he's forgotten how to speak without drawing blood. Something happened to this man. Something that turned whatever warmth he once had into stone. We'll find out what eventually. The strange things begin accumulating, each one stranger than the last. A piano covered in cloth that appears to play by itself. Shooting stars appearing directly above Maria's tower. Not once, but twice, like a countdown or a signal. A glowing spirit animal moving through the garden in the dark, real enough to see but impossible enough to doubt. And then the night Rufus, the enormous allegedly visitor-attacking dog, leads Maria through the corridor with unmistakable purpose, and she passes a mirror. In the mirror, Rufus is not a dog. He is a black lion, ancient, enormous, the exact creature described in the chronicles. Maria is terrified. She follows him anyway. And that decision leads her to Marmaduke, a chef who moves so fast he seems to bend the rules of space, appearing and disappearing between blinks like a magic trick that never ends. When Maria demands answers, Marmaduke doesn't give her a speech. He gives her something more useful, a location. The book is in the library. Go find it. Keep reading. She does. And this time when the full prophecy lands, the 5,000 moons, the new soul, the eternal darkness, it doesn't feel like a story. It feels like a message, addressed specifically to her. She runs back to Marmaduke shaking. Is this real? All of it? He looks at her without flinching. Every word, he says. That night, Maria has a nightmare. She wakes from screaming. And when daylight comes, she has made a decision. She is done. She didn't ask for this destiny. She is 16 years old. Her father just died, and she wants no part of a 5,000-year-old curse. She packs her things, says goodbye to the small rabbit she rescued from a trap in the forest. More on that in a moment. And heads for the gate. Except she runs into the forest instead. And in the forest, a voice calls her name. She follows it into a clearing bathed in golden light, and standing there, surrounded by animals impossibly still, is a woman who should not exist. The Moon Princess. Or rather the last of her. A woman named Loveday who has been waiting in that clearing for longer than Maria can imagine. Loveday shows her something that strips away every remaining doubt. Using magic, she conjures a vision, the moon falling, crashing, destroying the valley and everything in it. The 5 of the moon is almost here. There's no more time for denial. And then she reveals the piece of the story Maria was never meant to learn alone. Maria's father knew about the curse. He spent years trying to break it. He failed. So he did the only thing he could. He sent Maria to Moonacre Valley because this is where she belongs. Because she is the one the prophecy was written for. Maria processes this, and then, because she is exactly the kind of person who does not sit still while a valley burns, she starts thinking practically. The Noir clan has a vault. The book mentions it, a vault that might be connected to the pearls, and to open it, there is a key. Maria reaches for her father's book and finds it, attached to the cover all along. She's been carrying it since London. Loveday walks her toward the Noir castle. But the closer they get, the more Loveday falters, and when they reach the edge of the grounds, she stops completely, apologizes, and runs. Maria is alone at the gates of an enemy stronghold. She goes in anyway. She moves through the castle in silence, slipping past guards, listening at doorways, until a hand closes around her arm and everything goes wrong. She's dragged before William de Noir, the head of the Noir clan. He is a man built from generations of righteous fury, and he looks at Maria like she is a confirmation of everything his family has always believed. He takes the key. Maria accuses him of having the pearls, and William, calm in the way that only someone very certain of their own correctness can be, takes her to a monument. His ancestor, the first Count de Noir. The vault, he tells her, has always been empty. His family never had the pearls. They were the ones wronged. And when the 5-Earth moon rises, the truth will finally come out, and they will collect what was stolen from them. Then his son, Robin, throws Maria in a dungeon and makes the mistake of lingering too long to taunt her. She kicks him, hard, somewhere he will remember. He leaves, furious, ordering the guards to lock her in tight. Maria is already planning. When a guard enters her cell to investigate what looks like a suspicious arrangement near the window, she is gone before the door swings shut behind him. She runs the length of the castle, hits the forest at full speed, and keeps going. The soldiers chase her but make the critical miscalculation of assuming she'll avoid the deep forest. She doesn't. Rufus finds her in the dark and guides her home. Back at the mansion, the tension between Maria and her uncle finally cracks into something real. When he orders her to her room and she fires back that he's not her father, something shifts in his face. It is the first moment he looks like a person instead of a policy. He apologizes. Quietly, without being asked twice. Loveday reappears and gives Maria the original dress of the Moon Princess. When Maria puts it on, she stops looking like a girl trying to survive a situation and starts looking like someone who was built for exactly this. Together they play the old piano. And in a mirror across the room, Maria catches a glimpse of the past. Loveday and Benjamin, young, dancing, in love. Before everything broke, and then Loveday says the thing that explains everything. She's from the Noir family. Benjamin, when he realizes what Maria has seen, doesn't take it gracefully. He breaks things. He shouts. He accuses Loveday of using their past, their love, as a way to get to the pearls. She tries to explain. He doesn't let her. And Loveday, for what must feel like the 100th time in a very long life, leaves. Maria now understands the full picture. This feud was never just about magic and greed. At its root, it is a love story that was destroyed before it could survive. Benjamin and Loveday. Two families that should have been one. Torn apart by the same ancient wound that split the whole valley. A painting of the Moon Princess begins to move. Really move, shifting, revealing. And Maria gathers everyone. Lavandisa, Marmaduke Pierre. The painting shows them where the pearls are hidden. In the forest, Maria saddles her horse, tucks Serena close, and rides into the dark. In the forest, she lays a trap for Robin, and catches him. But she doesn't use him as a prisoner. She sits him down and tells him everything. The curse, the prophecy, the 5 Roth moon. What will happen to the valley, to his family, to everyone, if the pearls are not returned? Robin sits very still while she talks. And for the first time in his life, he actually considers the possibility that the story his father told him, the one where his clan are the victims and the other family are the villains, might be only half the truth. He says he'll help. Together, 2 enemies turned uneasy allies. They go deeper into the forest. Robin lays false trails to buy them time. They move fast and quiet. And then, in rapid succession, everything falls apart. Robin is captured. Maria is alone, surrounded by enemy soldiers in the creeping dark. And then the glowing unicorn appears again and leads her forward. To the cave, to the chamber, to the pearls. She reaches them just as William reaches her. Robin breaks free. Rufus tears out of the trap. In the chaos of the fight, a soldier raises a bow, and the arrow finds Rufus, not the dog, the black lion who has been guarding Maria since the moment she arrived. He staggers. He falls, and he does not get up. Robin drives his father back. He grabs Maria and they run, using the pearl's light to navigate the dark cave, bursting out onto the cliff. The same cliff where the original celebration was held, centuries ago, before greed poisoned everything. The 5th moon hangs full and terrible overhead. Benjamin arrives. William arrives. Both families on the edge of the same mistake their ancestors made. Maria steps between them and speaks. She doesn't yell. She doesn't beg. She simply names what happened and what it cost. Every generation. Every life. Every war fought over an old wound that nobody alive even remembers the origin of. She says it can end here, tonight, or it can go on forever. Nobody moves. Loveday tries. Still nothing. So Maria does the only thing left. She throws the pearls into the sea. They come back. She throws them again. They return. Nature, it seems, does not want a gesture. It wants a sacrifice. The pearls attach to her dress, pulling, glowing, asking, and Maria finally understands what the Moon Princess's prophecy actually required. Not someone who could throw the pearls away. Someone willing to go with them. She walks to the edge. She jumps. The water is cold and dark and absolute. The pearls separate from her dress and dissolve into the ocean. Maria sinks and keeps sinking. The light above her grows smaller. Her strength disappears. Then the moon sends its energy out like a shockwave, rippling across the valley, through the water, through the soil, through 5,000 years of broken history. A wave rises from the sea, enormous and white and alive with horses. The unicorn rises with it, and Maria rises with the unicorn, gasping, alive, carried back to the surface on the back of the ancient creature as the wave crests the cliff. She's alive. In the forest, Rufus opens his eyes. He stands. And as he runs back toward the cliff, the shape of him shifts, because he was never just a dog. He is the black lion of the ancient story, restored, reborn, running full speed back to the girl he was always meant to protect. On the cliff, Benjamin faces Loveday. The armor is gone. He says the words he should have said a very long time ago. She listens, and this time nobody walks away. One soldier, the one who fired the arrow at Rufus, decides this is the moment for one last act of violence. Lavandisa steps forward. With her umbrella, he goes down. Maria starts laughing. It is the best possible sound to end 5,000 years of darkness with. Both families stand together on the cliff as the 5th moon finishes its arc and begins to set. Below them, the sea is calm. Behind them, the valley is breathing again. The curse is gone, the pearls are home, and 2 families who spent centuries building monuments to their hatred are standing close enough to touch. No darkness, no war, just the quiet that comes after something very old finally lets go. The Secret of Moonacre is a film about a curse, but underneath that, it's about what happens when grief is allowed to harden into hatred and hatred is passed down like an inheritance nobody asked for. It takes one girl, one night, and one impossible leap of faith to break a chain that 5,000 moons couldn't. So here's what I need from you right now. At the end of this film, Maria jumps off a cliff into a dark ocean, alone. Because it's the only way to save people who didn't even fully believe in her. No guarantee she survives. No promise the curse breaks. Just trust. Could you do that? Leave your answer in the comments. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and come back for the next one. Because what I have lined up next makes this look like a bedtime story. Subscribe. Drop a comment. I'll see you there.